What's up, man? How's it going? My name is Jeff,
And my name is Marshall. We're Back Pocket Alimony, and this is Joel Does Music.
What's up and Happy New Year? It's your boy Joel, and this is Joel Does Music. First interview of 2025. I had to do it with none other than my guys in Back Pocket Alimony. In case you're wondering who Back Pocket Alimony is, alternative punk band right here from Jersey. Think Dance Gavin Dance, but if they had gone purely pop punk and emo. What's up, guys?
What's good, man? How's it going?
It's going, man. What's up, dude?
You know what I'm saying?
What's going on, brother?
I'm just here. Thank you guys so much for allowing me into the rehearsal space that I've jammed with you a couple times in.
Of course, you're always welcome.
But this
here.
time in a professional setting.
Yeah. Let me straighten my posture.
Are you ready, as Creed says?
Yeah. Will you take me higher?
Always.
Okay,
my sacrifice. With arms wide open, brother.
Yeah. Always welcome here with
Always.
arms wide open.
So, for those who are watching that aren't familiar with Back Pocket Alimony, first off, I've known you guys for a couple years. Marshall, I met you at Outback Steakhouse in 2018, I want to say.
Yeah. 2018, 2019. Let's say before pandemic.
Yes,
How about that?
that's pretty accurate.
BP, right? Before pandemic times. It was a different time. I was working in the restaurant industry. Luckily, not in there anymore. But shout outs to all the restaurant workers and all that stuff. They're always hustling. But yeah, I was hustling, doing my thing. Had you as one of my tables. You were very polite. You and your family were very polite.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
And yeah, we just bonded over music. Turns out, we were both in bands, and I happened to be, in Back Pocket Alimony, really adamant about it. And we just went off from there, pretty much. It was a fun conversation, and we're friends since.
Isn't it beautiful? It's all full circle, man.
Yeah, no,
Kumbaya.
It's wonderful how life comes together.
So I've known about the band, obviously, since I met you. But the thing is, I've never known 100% about the lore. I'm sure there are people who have seen you guys live that aren't familiar with the lore. So tell me about SparkNote's version, how you guys came together and formed what is now Back Pocket Alimony.
All right, so I got this. So pretty much, this is my band. We used to have, it was me, one of my other friends, and another friend. We were just in high school. Going into college, and we used to make music, together. And one day, we went to the beach, and we were just playing guitars together. And somebody came up to us and was like, "Hey, you guys are a band?" And we just looked at each other and we're like, "Yeah." So during that time, we were just maybe we should just try to make songs, blah blah whatever. And as we started progressing, we were like, "Okay, let's get a bassist and a singer." And really how I met him, I was in Montclair State, put out a flyer. I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a singer."
MSU. I went to Willie P. Sorry.
Enemy. No, but put out a flyer, and he answered the flyer, and he just he had potential from what we were looking for, and it just matched, and here we are. Spark Notes.
Spark Notes. Hey, that was pretty Spark Notesy to me. But what I like about the sound of your band is that obviously it's alternative rock driven. You got pop punk, but there's also math rock influences, which you don't really hear a ton of in the Jersey music scene. I think nowadays when you try to examine the local Jersey music scene, you have bands that are either post-hardcore, although not a lot. Most are indie, pop punk. I feel like there's a bigger emphasis on them. And metalcore, I think there still is an even bigger emphasis. But why math rock? What are your favorite bands within that genre, or prog rock?
So let me say, fun fact is, when I was beginning this band, I knew nothing.
Get out. No way.
He probably can explain it way better. I knew nothing. So I would listen to bands like Chon. Mm-hmm. My favorite band is The Story So Far, right? So the way that they do their rhythms and stuff like that, to me, is how I try to emulate, because I think that's the best.
Right.
But I also listen to a lot of Chon. So in my opinion, doing stuff in that area is impressive to me.
Right.
So that's why I try to emulate that stuff. And literally, I will tell you, I don't even know what is math rock about some of the stuff that we play.
See, when I listen to your music, I think, nah, this guy's cooking. You are cooking because with the tempo changes and the time signature changes too. I'm like, okay, he went from 4/4 to 6/8. I'm like, something's got to give. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how, as musicians, we've like really developed because he's being completely genuine. When we met, he knew the story so far, neck deep, and that's about it.
So
like,
the 2010s revival, basically.
Yeah.
Like the third or I guess fourth wave of pop punk we're in.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and that's really like where the buck stops, right? So I came into this having been heavily influenced by multiple genres, multiple bands. We're talking like Rise Against is a big one for me.
Oh, yeah.
Chili Peppers. Later on came Dance Gavin Dance, I the Mighty, all types of different bands. I mean, La Dispute. I'm walking band merch right now. But I fell in love with the music. I dabbled in so many different genres where when I met Jeff and having the level of guitar talent that he had, I was really shocked to hear that he only knew the story so far and neck deep, really.
Right.
That's the ones that he can name tit for tat. This is what I know. This is the song I know. I don't know this band. I don't know this band. Never heard of this one. And some of these bands, like really well-known bands. Not to clown on you, but it just goes to show, like, sometimes the creativity is so much more than what you actually like put yourself out there to listen to. So the creativity was always in the man's head, and it was just like nourishing it with hearing other stuff, hearing other sounds, going to shows, playing shows, hearing other bands, getting advice from other people, learning from other people, different techniques, different experiences, including yourself. No, it's 100% true. So, I mean, I think the approach me and Jeff have had since the beginning has been learn, develop, get better, improve, and that's how I think when it comes to the whole topic of genres, we've never really enclosed ourselves into one genre. We've always kind of been, we want to play what sounds good, what we like, and sometimes at one phase in our life we were really big into the pop punky sounds and stuff, and then we got more into mathy sound, then we kind of mixed them there, and then we were like, let's go more alternative and poppy, and let's change it up. And it's really what the ear likes to hear and what's pleasing to the ear, and that's kind of the approach we went with, and we still do to this day.
It blows my mind because you guys have been together for just about 8 years, right? 7-8 years, give or take, where I don't know if you guys have recognized this in the music that you're recording and you're working on at the moment, but you guys have gone through sort of a musical evolution, whereas your early stuff and then later on, you start off with very alternative, punky, very math rock and prog oriented music, but with your latest releases like Sunrise and Departure, it's very straightforward alternative with emo. There's like a dash of that prog math rock element, but you guys have evolved to straightforward alternative and emo. Was that kind of the progression that was just in the books that you meant for it to happen, or did it just happen and was a lucky accident, basically?
So, in my opinion, I think what happened is, and I'm pretty sure you know this, but for the viewers, they probably don't know, is that like we've had so many people come into our band and come out, and being in a band for 8 years, like a lot of new faces, a lot of new ideas and stuff like come here and there. So we've always just been open to just trying different things. So I would assume that like since our changes in like music from what you said, that like we were like a little math rocky and now was more on the more alternative side. I think it comes from like just having more people come in and us being open and just mixing in what their ideas are, you know? And to me, like I said, I still don't even know what the math rocky sound is. Like I don't know what the alternative, or like I know what the emo sound is like.
Everybody does.
Like, you know, but like he said, it was just like I just play things that I just think sounds good, you know? But if it's like this, if it's like that, I'm just like, hey, it's just good, you know? Like I said, it might be influences from everybody else or something like that.
I like that. I mean, of course, whenever new people come into the band, the dynamic changes, but would you also consider that whatever you guys went through in your personal lives, the music kind of reflected, like with Sunrise, it's definitely like the music video and the actual song juxtapose each other well, because obviously you have like, oh, at the beach, and it's all just very colorful and great. But then we listen to the song and we look at lyrics, it's like, oh, this is about someone's struggle with ADHD.
The sun is rising when the sky is falling. Time to reflect wasted days.
how important is it for you as a songwriter and as a singer to pretty much be an open book and be transparent about those issues that you've gone through and let that reflect into the music?
I feel like that for me is just a core characteristic of mine. I've always been a genuine person, like the person you see in the camera, the person you see on stage, the person you speak with online or over text or whatever context is the person you're going to get when you meet them in person. And I try to take a really honest approach with, most of my issues and most of things that I like to discuss in music and in my songwriting. And I also try to not, and Jeff, we take the same approach. We try not to stick to like a certain trend. We try to break away from what's been done before, and not to the point where it's kind of like its own niche. Like, we don't do it just because it's trendy or it's cool. We do it because we do want to be different. We genuinely feel that when we make songs, we don't want to make the same cookie cutter song. Sure, we will take ideas and make it our own, but we want to talk about topics that maybe don't get talked about enough and get overlooked pretty often. Like, everyone makes a song about heartbreak. It's the easiest thing to relate with. Everyone makes a song about struggles and drugs, alcohol, all the topics that have been spoken about. That's popular in music. That's been popular in music for a long time. But in terms of like Sunrise, for example, that was genuinely a story of like the amount of times in college and MSU where I would be awake for, I would probably, so many times I could count that I just wouldn't even go to bed because I'd be up all night procrastinating on projects, working on things, whether it be like for BPA or it was mostly for college work. And I would literally see the sun set and rise on the same day without having to go to sleep. I would get up to, do my project, finish up. And I'm like, well, it's 30 minutes before I have class, so I might as well just go to class. Like stuff like that, stuff that I'm sure you could relate to too. Like a lot of people could relate to. And a lot of it was because of like, bro, I can't focus. Why am I watching Dragon Ball? Like, let me focus on,
good
on
choice,
work
though.
and stuff. Yeah, no, it was fun until, I had to pay the price and I'm like, oh, wow, I got to do this and that. And it's something that I struggle with a lot. Till this day, I struggle with a lot. So it was kind of like, dude, I mean, I'm going through this and that. Everyone goes through heartbreak and stuff, but what about what I'm going through my day-to-day right now? It's like, dude, I can't focus. I can't struggle. And you could relate to it too. Like, we've talked about this. It's stuff that no one really talks about. So it's like, why not? Let's make it into a song and have fun with it.
I also want to say, I'll say something is, I think this might also relate to what you were saying about how we were before and how we are now. Is realistically, I never took like lyrics that seriously, or it was never like to heart for me. Like when I say it's serious, all right, let me rephrase it. When I say seriously, like it wasn't something that it would be like I'm going through it, so like I want to express it. I just was like, hey, this is cool. Like I would just write a poem and then like express something. Like there's one that we have years ago is Shots Fired. And this is one that I told them about. I was like, hey, yo, tell me what you think this is about. And they'd be like, oh, like, yeah, this is like man, like this person's going through like something really bad and all this stuff. Like, yeah, like I understand like the true essence of it. And I was like, nah, I was at a bar and I just dropped my my beer and it fell to the floor. So I just personified what happened. So like I guess the lyrics would be like, what made it so hard falling, looking at that glass falling down towards the earth. There's no way it'll mend. Like the way people think is like, they could be thinking about like mistakes or something like that, blah, blah, blah. It was like, nah, I just dropped my beer and I needed another one.
And honestly, I think the combination of those two things where he kind of gives objects life and I kind of try to convey a message, it turns, the formula comes out like Sunrise and comes out like other songs like Pickle Juice and I mean, a song that we just released recently, Departure, all that kind of stuff. Like, we put it together and it makes a really, really awesome song lyric wise, and it makes sense and it's all cohesive, and at the end of the day, you can attest to this, both of you can attest to this, the audience can attest to this. music is subjective. Like, you can make a song about what you want it to be about, and as long as it hits you and it resonates with you, that's all that matters. Like, it doesn't matter if it's about this and maybe you don't relate to it. Like, as long as you relate to it based on what you think it is or your interpretation of it is, that's all that matters to me. Whatever makes you happy, I'm happy, you know?
Damn, that's powerful stuff. Seriously. I mean, that's what music, at least at the end of the day, should be all about. Just being transparent about stuff that you've gone through, or something as poetic as, nah, my beer can just fell at a bar, but you're turning it into a poetic twist, and it's something that people think actually happened, like, is much worse. It's like, oh, whoa. You kind of bamboozled them for a second, but in a fun, artistic way, though, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Just be trying, you know? Just be trying.
I mean, seriously, like, the lyrics for Sunrise, for example, like, when you first showed me the song and I looked at the lyrics, I was like, oh, like, for example, this is poetry right here, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is poetry. You got my paper here. Pressure builds up every day I grind. Watch it crumble from the stress inside. Keep asking how brought this on yourself now. Panic takes control of pace. I mean, come on. Like, you're pouring your heart out. You're really telling what you went through personally. Do you find it difficult at times, Marshall, and Jeff, if you want to touch on it too, do you find it difficult, I guess, like, in an emotional way, mentally, just pouring your heart out into these songs based on true stories? Like, do you find it to be mentally taxing at times, or it's just, hey, listen, I'm writing a song, I'm just going to let the people connect to it because I'm sure they've gone through something similar? Or do you just find it difficult, like, oh, man, it's so hard, like, I'm sharing a story, essentially, of what happened to me?
Do you mind if I go first? Because mine is going to be really short. Is what I've realized is, like, with even a lot of the songs that we have, what I realize is that a lot of the ways that I write, at least, is, like, I always want people at the end of the song to just to realize that they'll be okay. You know, like, there's always, like, a light at the end of the tunnel. If you go through a lot of the songs, like, I would say, like, higher or lower, that's always at the end is, like, higher or lower, whichever weighs less. You'll get through it no matter what, you know? A lot of the songs, to me, is just, like, whoever's listening, like, just, you can get through it no matter what, pretty much. But that was all I'm saying. It's a lot of songs. I don't know. It's the same thing.
Okay, short and sweet. I like it.
I mean, it's hard, right? Because some songs, when it comes to just being just put your heart on your sleeve, wear your heart on your sleeve kind of stuff, it can be hard sometimes, depending on how, like, recent something happened or how, like, much it affected you. I mean, you can attest. We wrote a song recently that took me forever to write because it was, like, one of those songs that this is, like, really, really personal to me. Like, I want to make sure, like, I really convey this message as well as possible, and it expresses every feeling I can. And you only have 4 minutes to do it. You know, You can't write a whole novel. But in terms of, like, Sunrise itself, you know, that one was one that it came out a lot easier, mostly because it comes from just who I am. I do wear my heart on my sleeve. I am very genuinely myself, and I'm not afraid to express that through my music. I feel like I do have a message to tell. I feel like I can reach out to people. I feel like I can relate to people out there, and I feel like, you know, I want to be heard. I think everyone wants to be heard to a certain extent. Obviously, I don't let it get to me. Ego-wise, I try to stay humble about it, but you know, I felt like I had a message to say. I felt like there was a few things that, rather than go on a rant about it on social media or whatever, let me write a song about it. Or let me hit the gym and then write a song about it. Like, stuff like that. Like,
oh, yeah.
I do like to express my thoughts on paper. I do like to express my thoughts through music. Sometimes, you know, I used to have an unhealthy habit of doing it through socials, and then I just converted that to writing it on music. And this was a subject matter that, man, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about how much I struggled with this stuff and how annoying it was. And it just made sense with Sunrise. So it just came out a lot easier. But there are obviously going to be subject matters where it's a lot tougher. It's like, you know, nails on a chalkboard, or how would someone say it? Like kind of like hurting yourself, like really like ripping the Band-Aid off kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you stopped ranting on social media, because that's clearly an unhealthy way of coping with stuff.
Exactly.
You know, you're pouring it into your music. It's like, all right, this is a much more productive and healthier way of dealing with it. But it is hard. Like, now that you've shed some light on that question. It is hard because when you're revisiting, that's what you're doing essentially when you're writing these songs, especially in Sunrise and Departure, you basically revisited those memories. So I understand how painful it could be because you had what you thought was just a Band-Aid on a wound. All right, cool, I'm good for X amount of time. But when you're working on that song, you're thinking to yourself, oh, damn, it hurts. I'm pulling off the Band-Aid. I'm revisiting those painful memories, but for the sake of art.
I will say that, like, I also wrote, like, a song that was extremely near and dear, like, and to me, like, I don't know how he deals with it, but to me, like, writing the song feels like it's therapy, and it's like, it's done, just let it go.
Yes.
Like, once it's all done, it's finished, and it's just like a weight off my shoulders. Even though if, like, the situation has happened many years ago, and then until, like, I get this song out, I'm like, yo, this song is like finally done. It feels like a weight off my shoulders. So, like I said, I don't know how he feels it, but feels about it. But for me, like, sometimes I could see it as a therapeutic thing that's just like a sense of relief, you know. But like you said, even if I listen to the song, it doesn't like, I don't revisit the memories, you know. But because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I already finished that. It's already done. You know, so maybe you might revisit, but I don't know, like, where you're at with, like, some kind of things like that.
I mean, I share the similar sentiment where, like, I do write a song and it is therapeutic, and then I, like, okay, cool, like, I've closed that chapter. But I think sometimes I do struggle with the songwriting aspect when I have to revisit a certain time and place in my life.
It's hard.
And it's like, damn, like, because it's like a double-edged sword, or almost like a catch-22, where, like, when you're in a bad place, or when you're in a certain place in your life, that might be the best time to that might be where the most, you know, creative song and the most amazing songs come out of. But it's also really painful to do it, right? But on the other hand, if you wait until you're ready to get to that point, now you have to go back to that, and you feel like it's not as, like, fresh, it's not as, like, you know, sharp or, like, refined or as vivid as how it would have been had you written at the time. So it's like a double entendre. Like, I do find it therapeutic at times, but it's tough to write in that position because you're just really, really vulnerable. But on the other hand, if you wait it out and you go back, you're like, damn, like, I feel like I felt so much more at the moment than I am right now. And I got to really put myself in that place. And, bro, sometimes when we were writing songs, I'd be like, man, I'm not in a good mood. And it's because, like, I was like, that's the headspace. Yeah. I was just thinking about this and that, trying to write this. Yeah, no, it is. It's you got to balance it out somehow. You always got to find a way. But no, we've been pretty successful in finding ways to go about doing it, and I'm happy with what we've made so far and the progress we've made with all our songwriting and all that.
Well, speaking of new music, you got another single coming out very soon. I know, listen, I've heard it because I got, sneak peek exclusive over here. I'm just saying. And it's really good because I also played it with you guys live.
Yeah.
So Emergency Room, talk to me about the formation of it and what it means to you guys individually.
Okay, so I made this song, I made this song in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right
No,
before.
like right before.
Yeah, I
it was right before.
It came out.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, like we were working on it during we had the face masks and everything. Like we're just like, what is this? Oh, this is Emergency Room. Okay, cool. We'll come back to it.
So like for me, like I wrote this song and I was just like, it started I remember July because I was at Montclair State just in like housing just for the summer. It was cool, and I started just like what I started doing is like I write with like the music, and I'm like going over this and sneak peek. I was just like, man, like I just like feel this type of thing over and over. And I started saying like I see this type of thing over and over, and that made me start thinking about what kind of situations do people go through, and then as I was going through this, like, I'm not going to, I'm saying, I'm trying to tiptoe around it because it's going to come out, But as I was going through this, I was like, yo, this sounds really good to me. So it just took me like probably like a whole year after that to really finish like the lyrics and then come to them and be like, yo, is this a good song? You know, sang the lyrics and everything, and they helped me out and gave their inputs. They were like, yo, like, it's pretty good. And I was hopefully that, you know, it resonated with them and it worked. And yeah, it feels really good to me. Like, I was like, yeah, it's like one of my babies, but I'm just, you know, I just want to wait till it comes out and just let it like flourish. I don't know.
Yeah, like you want to nurture the song. I like how you guys are personifying your music. You're nurturing the song, you're building it layer by layer, piece by piece, and when you think it's done, you just let it out the nest, essentially.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't write every single lyric. Like it's usually a collaborative between me and Jeff.
Oh, get out, really?
Yeah, it's usually a solid collaborative between me and Jeff. Sometimes it's more me than Jeff. Sometimes it's more Jeff than me. And for Emergency Room, it's more Jeff orientated. So this is more of his style with little like influences of me in there. And I was like, hey, Jeff, what if we did this? Or what if we restructured this melody? Jeff, I don't want to sing this high. Marshall, you're going to sing this high. All right, fine, Jeff, I'm going to sing this high. And, you know, like going back and forth with ideas until we finally come to the final conclusion. And yeah, I think this goes back to what we were saying earlier about the genres and all that. I think at the end of the day, as long as we like a song, as long as it's got that BPA feel to it, that back pocket punk to it, then we're like, okay, this is a Back Pocket Alimony song. We're ready to release it. And yeah, this one's been in the oven for a bit, and we refined it, added, you know, now that we've experienced so many different types of musicians and music and sounds, we've refined our palette, we've refined our taste and how we've constructed songs. And so now this one I feel is, I would say of all our songs, this one's one where we were a lot more thoughtful of harmonies, a lot more thoughtful of backup vocals and how we want to use them. And it's really cool because once we have like the tools at our disposal, we have fun with it.
Nice.
And this one's like really cool in terms of how we constructed that.
And I would just want to say, like, it's also because like of our drummer, like he's like a really big influence when it comes to our harmony game. Because ours used to be like not as good. He really helped us with the harmony games in the background.
Yeah.
Stuff. So shout outs to him.
Brendan.
Yeah, shout out to Brendan. Yeah, no, it's definitely what he was saying before. All these other members that we've met, come and go, like they always bring something to the table that's different, and we like to BPA it. You know, we like to back pocketize it.
BPA or BPAify.
BPAify.
Whatever it's going to be, whatever the verb is.
Essentially. And that's where a lot of harmonies, and like in our recent songs, a lot of harmonies are heavily influenced by like just his brainscape and how he, you know, how we can pick it apart and be like, okay, this is a really cool idea. Let's work off of this, and so on and so forth.
Isn't it crazy? You guys have been together for essentially 8 years. You've had a handful of lineup changes, but I think with each lineup change, you guys have enhanced the music, essentially. Like you're adding different elements, you're working on this, you've improved this and that. So my last question to you guys, what keeps you guys going still? 8 years, lineup changes. Is there a goal that you have in mind, or are you just, you know, chill guys doing it?
You know, it's to get big, you know. No, I'm playing.
I mean, if you want to say it,
I'll say
I feel like it's there in you, dog. Come on.
So, I guess with me is that like, I feel like I've been playing music for so long, and the thing is, I just never knew theory, never knew anything like that. I always had so many friends that were better than me with all this music things, because like in high school, I had no friends that were I had a bunch of friends, but no friends that were into this genre. So like until I got to college, literally doing this band, like my senior year of college, you know, like I finally had like people and like a group of people that really liked this type of stuff, which is essentially why I didn't really know too many bands and stuff like that. Like I would never saw myself as like an emo kid or anything like that. I never knew these things. But with that being said, how I was before and how I am now, I've seen myself grow as a musician, and I still don't think I'm a musician like that. I'm probably a guitarist, but I'm not really a musician like that, because I still need to get to your level.
Give yourself
You know
some
what I'm
credit,
saying?
dude.
A little bit.
These songs are top notch,
Yeah.
especially Sunrise. Come on, man.
I'll
And
be trying.
Emergency Room. it's a game changer for you guys. Really, it's the turning of a new chapter.
I mean, like I said, I always be trying, but what keeps me going is that is just coming up with new things. Is just like, wow, like I have a bunch of homies, and I always meet a bunch of new people that always just influencing me to try something new or get something out there and try to get in my head, I just want music that to give to people and then just like it, and that's it. That's how I feel.
Should have known it wouldn't go your way. Wouldn't go your way.
I mean, I share a lot of the sentiment that Jeff said in terms of like what keeps him going and such. I think with me, they're obviously getting this out of the way. If we ever make it big, if this is ever something that we get paid to do, anyone in any situation would love to be in that situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, obviously, you want to get paid to do something you love to do. So that would be lovely. That's ideal, and that is like a motivating factor. I'd be lying to tell you if it wasn't, right? It's not the only factor. I'm not doing this to get paid. Like, we've had people come and go and like, hey, when are we going to get paid? And it's like, bro, you're in a band. Like, come on. Like, it's not about the money. But what the biggest thing for me that BPA is about and what keeps me going is that this is an outlet for me. This is a place where I can create something bigger than myself that's going to outlast me essentially as well. Like, when my time on this earth is done, which it's not finite. It is finite, right? It's not infinite. Finite means there's an end, right?
Yeah, there is an end. Yes. Just so you know. Infinite means forever.
Yeah. Unless something happens, life is finite, right? So these songs will stand the test of time. They will continue on even after I leave this earth. And for me, it's like, it's a creative outlet for me to express myself, to me to vent out things that I want to express, to me to convey messages that I feel like is a good message to put out there. And I love to do it, man. Like, every time we come in here and we jam and we come up with songs, like, I leave here and like, damn, I got that tune stuck in my head. I got that melody stuck in my head. And like, I want to build on that. And sometimes I'll be sitting in traffic like, yo, I got this cool little melody. I recorded, like, yo, Jeff, check out the drive. There's something there for you. Like, let me know what you think about this. And it's just fun. And what keeps me going is just the fact that I enjoy doing this. I really do.
That's what matters the most, and it's kind of like an adrenaline rush too. It's a drug essentially.
Yeah, that's what I was about to like. He started making me think of something in the same sense that you were gonna say. It was like, if I really wasn't doing this, I probably would be doing something related anyway. Because like music has always been in my brain. Like, either I would be listening to a bunch of music and like try to dissect it on my own, even if I didn't know it. But like, I would try to find some way to make some type of music, because I used to play piano. I'd probably try to become a pianist, probably try to learn how to play clarinet or something like that. So
it's a good word.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, I guess like regardless is like no matter if I didn't choose this route, I would have chosen something for the love of just music in general. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's just where I would stand with it. Because the same way, like we were saying, it's like, it's just fun,
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times growing up, and this is kind of like a little backstory as to how I got into singing. The amount of times that I grew up, Joel, listening to like Meteora, and I just want to mimic Chester Bennington,
who didn't
just like
then.
Him. Like, I was just like him, but like I just wanted to mimic the way he sang. And like, you have Audio Slave and Rage Against the Machine and so many of these other bands. I'm just like, bro, I want to sing just like that and like get up on the stage and have fun with it. And you can tell, like, you've been to our shows, like, when I have the freedom to not play guitar and stuff, because I do play guitar as well. That was like an instrument I learned, and I've been kind of working on that as well. I'm just like, I'm myself. I have fun with it. I jump up on the stage. I mimic. I like to mimic what I see in a professional sense. Like, I go to concerts all the time. I sing the songs. I'm crowd surfing. I'm busting my guts and just fucking going in and just,
yeah, dude,
bursting, like losing my voice
You're
and
a
all
loose
that.
cannon. That's it.
I love to sing. So for me, this is like one of those like I get to really, really like, and you feel it. Some practices when I'm in like a bad mood or I'm in a really good mood, like you can tell in the way I sing. Like I like even if it's a song I haven't wrote, I relate to it. Like Emergency Room, for example, which is heavily you. Like I make it mine. Like this is now my song too, and I'm gonna express myself through singing. So it's just for me, it's that medium. I'm always gonna want that. I'm always gonna want that. I always have that itch. It's always gonna keep going for me.
That's beautifully put. Damn. Poetic. When you suffer for your art, but you're just a chill guy. That's the name of this episode right there. Boom. Honestly, guys, thank you so much for doing this. Marshall,
man, thank
Jeff,
you.
the boys. Now, last words into the camera. What do you guys have planned? When is Emergency Room dropping out, damn it?
That's exactly what I was about to tell everyone, like that's looking at us and probably looking at me, or him,
With
whoever.
the nice focal
Yeah.
length going on and the focus.
January 10th, Emergency Room. And we have a music video for it that we worked really hard on.
Oh, nice. So by the time this video's out, it'll be out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So January 10th, if you see this later, it's already out.
And where can people follow you just to keep up with what you're doing on social media, or if they just want to chat and get to know you, really?
I mean, Instagram is the big one. Obviously, everyone can follow our socials on Instagram, our fiascos. We've been putting out a lot more content on there lately, which I'm sure you've seen and people have enjoyed it. We're having fun with those. We are available on all streaming platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Pandora, you name it. Whatever you use, we're most likely on there. We even have a Bandcamp as well. You can check that out. All the stuff is online. We're just a Google search away. And yeah, in terms of what Jeff said, January 10th, right? Emergency Room. By the time this comes out, it'll probably be out. And yeah, enjoy it and stream it. And there you go.
If our name is too hard, it's Back Pocket Alimony. Just copy it. Like he's gonna write it down somewhere. Just copy it.
I will
and
in the
paste it.
description. I will.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you guys so much again. Joel does music. Much love and good vibes. We'll see you next time.
Peace.